The moment I'd heard about Double Rainboom, I was hyped like nothing else. A show-length animation by the fans for the fans? What could possibly go wrong? There was not a single doubt in my mind that this would be the greatest thing ever. After a year of anticipation and a few delays, it finally came out. And, oh my god, was I disappointed. Double Rainboom begins with Twilight doing science. She's interrupted by Rainbow Dash, who is for some reason interested in what sort of egghead stuff Twilight is doing. Twilight explains that she's making a talent enhancer that she's been working on since childhood. Rainbow Dash, being the dumbass that she apparently is, decides to drink the potion. With Twilight's okay, she blasts through Twilight's roof and flies around. She gets the idea to do a double Rainboom and tears a hole between dimensions as a result of it. Where does she end up? Why, in the Powerpuff Girls universe, of course, because Lauren Faust worked on it. Also, I like how they interrupt the video just to give us a copyright disclaimer. Couldn't that have waited till the end of the video? Anyway, Rainbow Dash fights off a monster and is chased around Townsville, so we get another flying scene. Yay. In the end, Rainbow Dash's wings cramp up and she's saved by Pinkie and her ability to transcend time and space. Because that's Pinkie's talent, right? The thing that Twilight's potion is supposed to enhance? After that nonsense, Rainbow Dash writes a letter to Celestia. Okay, so you spend the first 25 minutes being nothing like the show, and now at the very last minute you decide to shoehorn a moral into this? Okay. I'll bite. What's the moral?
Today I learned not to take things that don't belong to me.
You drink an evil potion and destroy Ponyville, thus ruining the lives of everyone in town. And the moral is, don't steal. How about, don't be a fucking idiot? How's that for your fucking moral? Let's talk about the animation. The animation, for the most part, is pretty damn good. It's definitely one of the most impressively animated works the fandom has produced to date. Oh, but wait a minute. I distinctly remember Zachary saying something. What was it? Ah, there it is. The episode features a full orchestral score, studio-quality sound effects, voice actresses for the ponies, and 100% show-accurate animation. 100%, you say? I'll be the judge of that. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's fucking not. 100%? You guys didn't even bother to make the eye shines round, and the lines that are supposed to be straight look like they were drawn by Michael J. Fox in Microsoft Paint. Oh, but TRC, I thought you said that the animation was impressive. You're right, I did say that. And it is, but that doesn't change the fact that Zachary outright lied. He should have never made that promise, and he should have never hyped it up like he did. But let's get more technical. As everyone else has pointed out by this point, the animation falls smack dab into the uncanny valley. In other words, the animation comes close enough to mimicking the show to the point that its flaws become so much more apparent. In animations like these, I know that they're not trying to mimic the show's style, so I don't feel bothered by any of the flaws because there's nothing to compare it to. But what are the flaws exactly? Well, I'm not an animator, unfortunately, but what I can say about it is that the animation appears a lot choppier than the show, but it doesn't have anything to do with the frame rate. Double Rainboom and the show have the same frame rate of 24 frames per second. And yes, I did take into account the possibility that the video file and the animation itself have different frame rates, but that's not the case here. It could be that they overused tweens, but I won't know for sure unless I do a thorough comparison between the two. But for now, back to the review. The delivery of the actresses is all over the place. They got Rina-chan to voice Twilight, of course, but for some reason her acting here is really whiny.
It's not egghead stuff, it's science. Rainbow Dash! You have to slow down! No pony has ever gone this fast before. The side effects could be disastrous! Rainbow Dash? Rainbow Dash?
Hey, maybe you should whisper more quietly. That's sure to get her attention. Where the hell was the voice direction in this? It's pathetic, really, since Rina-chan has voiced so many characters in several online videos. Even Dot Mauve, the Joke series, has better acting than this. Rainbow Dash's delivery isn't much better, but the real problem I have is the quality of her voice recording. Here are some examples of what I'm talking about.
I snuck in. I was wondering what kind of egghead stuff you were doing. Science, egghead, same thing.
Really, the headset and homemade pop filter I'm using right now have better audio quality than hers. And ironically, the Powerpuff Girls got the best delivery, but they don't even have that many lines, so I don't know if it's a fair comparison. For the first half of this review, I've tried to keep myself restrained, at least more so than in my Equestria Girls review, but that ends here. Oh, I'm gonna enjoy this. Double Rainboom's pacing is atrocious. There are so many scenes that really drag out longer than they need to. The first 9 minutes, which is already a third of the video, are dedicated to Twilight and Rainbow Dash talking about the potion and what it may or may not do. These 9 minutes are full of lame and poorly executed jokes that go on for twice or thrice as long as they need to. This only gets worse in the scene where Rainbow Dash flies around Ponyville. This is supposed to be a fast-paced scene, but for every 5 seconds of her flying, there's a 10 or 15 or even 25-second joke that brings the scene to a screeching halt. If you're going to go for comedy, that's perfectly fine, but you need to understand something called timing. It means everything in comedy. But virtually every joke is like watching a toddler drag a brick up a hill of shattered glass. It's slow and painful to watch. The characterization is also unimpressive. Since Twilight and Rainbow Dash are the only ones who get extensive dialogue, the characterization is hardly there anyway. But let's take a look at Rainbow Dash. In this video, her actions are completely nonsensical. First, she sneaks into Twilight's lab to see
What kind of egghead stuff you were doing.
She said it, not me. Now, why would Rainbow Dash give 2 fucks about what sort of egghead stuff Twilight is doing? Can you think of a reason? I can't think of a reason. And I know that Rainbow Dash can be dense, but she's not so stupid that she would drink a potion that just made this face at her.
Then how do we know if it's dangerous?
The character interaction is also barely there. You know how in literally every single episode of the show, characters talk to each other throughout? Well, here, it's non-existent the moment Rainbow Dash starts flying, and it's because of this that the video as a whole is just a snooze fest to me. Now, of course, you can't talk about Double Rainboom without going into the memes and references, because they really went overboard with this shit. Double Rainboom feels like it traded any substance that it could have had for an orgy of internet memes and references to other shows, games, and the fandom itself. That evil face the potion makes? That's a troll face, and it's not funny. Slapping a meme onto a scene does not a joke make. It's like in those obnoxious spoof movies where all they do is make references to other movies for a cheap laugh. And then they put Domo on the moon? Why? What's the connection? If anything, they should have put the moon from Majora's Mask on there. Sure, it would have been just as stupid and pointless, but it would have made a whole lot more sense than fucking Domo. I'm not even kidding. Double Rainboom makes 1,000 references not to be clever, but just for the sake of making references. Now take all of that away, and what do you have left? You get a poorly paced, unfunny, mediocre, overhyped episode of My Little Pony. They had over 100 people working on this, but apparently not one of them knew how to write a story. Apparently all they knew was her memes are to lols. Sure, I could say more than that, but I believe Strebiskunk has already summed it up perfectly.
Now, I understand that a lot of people have really enjoyed this cartoon, and that's fine. You don't need me to tell you if you already liked it. But personally, I can't give this a free pass, especially since it's being turned in as an art school project. That means you're trying to get a job in the industry, and you're holding this up as proof of your ability to handle a big budget show for a mainstream audience. And in that regard, I'm sorry. Your pacing is terrible, the animation, while impressive at times, is wildly inconsistent, many of the jokes don't work, and even turned out a poor performance from an actress who's played the same character across the entire fandom. To paraphrase George Carlin, you make cartoons like old people fuck, slow and sloppy.
Now before I get flamed, which let's face it I'm going to anyway no matter what, I want to end the video on this. For as much shit as I give Zachary and his team, I do wish them luck in future endeavors. But please get a dedicated writer next time. And Journey of the Spark, please don't be a disappointment.